Mountain family. Just got a statue made of her in Columbia.
Hey guys, it's the Binti Love podcast. And okay, today we're talking about Donald Trump. Um, yes. So in recent news, it has been um spoken about allegedly that Donald Trump is basically having the National Guard to be stationed in his um area, Washington D.C., where the White House is, um until the end of his term. I don't know how many years he still has, but they're saying like not they they're gonna have them there until like 2029. So I'm thinking, how long has Donald Trump been in office? I think, was it 2024? So 26, 27, 28, the end of 28. But I guess another president does not take term until 2029. So I guess that's what they're talking about. Yeah. So the National Guard is going to be allegedly, according to sources online and other sources, um, he is going to be having the National Guard in D.C. to the end of his presidency. Okay. Yeah, but why only in D.C.? You know? Because if he feels there's a problem in D.C., why not in other cities? For instance, New York. Um, Now, during the parade um, for the New York Knicks, people were getting crushed, literally, um, where they were putting these little metal barriers up, the local police allegedly, and security, when millions of people are out there just walking. And so they get to, I don't know where they were trying to go because I don't know, but they get to a point and people are still just walking and pushing, and people were getting crushed because of the police officers putting up barriers there and would not, when they saw that the people were getting crushed, it took longer than needed for them to realize that, authority is not just to be authority, but to also save lives, right? And so um, they took longer than they needed to open up the little metal barriers that you could just put there and connect together, and like a fence or something like that. And I saw that and I was like, wow, you know, you know, sometimes you have to change things. Like, I know you want to authority is first, but when you see civilians getting crushed, you have to open up the floodgates. And eventually, I saw what I saw when I was looking at it, they did finally open up the fences that they can just put together at any time. Um, because people were being crushed and people kept moving and moving like millions of people um, out at the same time, um, enthusiastic for the parade. But a lot of people had some violence and things of that sort and other initiatives other than, hey guys, I just want to support the parade of the Knicks. And they're winning. So I feel as though if Donald Trump, feels there's an issue in DC, um, for him not just to care about where he's at, you know, and have people, the National Guard around him for 3 years or so. But consider New York because I definitely thought that that was a major problem, and that's a city that needs to, like for instance, I was thinking during the parade if they had a voice like a helicopter that was able to fly over to people and say, "Hey guys, stop walking right now. You're pushing forward," something like that, to warn the people that slow down. We're not going to let everybody in, and some of y'all need to turn back around. And I think that might be the National Guard's place to help the local police that were definitely they didn't bring enough people there, which I still do not understand because I think it's been so many years since the Knicks won a championship that they would be overly staffed. They would have everybody out there and have concerns that okay, this is uh, a situation that maybe people might be overly have overzealous behavior. Um, so, you know, but I don't understand why Donald Trump is just saying, okay, to the end of my presidency, I just want them to be here where I'm at and not considering other places where, like, again, this was definitely a threat to security here. The chaos there at um, the parade. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, for instance, people still know about P. Diddy and him at City College in New York. The people allegedly inside of a venue where he was throwing a party at. They closed the doors inside because they did not want people to get in. And I think other people just started pushing, not realizing that we're not going to let you in, whether you push or not. And there was a lot of casualties there. And so, again, New York, this was a bad situation. They closed the doors to the gym when it was P. Diddy at City College, New York, back in the 1990s, allegedly. But not realizing that people are still trying to get in. And I think if they push, you open the door. And that's what they need to do. Because, if they're pushing to open the door, you got to let them in. You can't control the crowd by closing the doors when people are stuck in the stairways. That's what happened at City College. And that's what really happened there. Knicks fans were crushed, at the parade. They want to put the barriers out to control the people, but you can't control them by putting the barriers up. You need something like the National Guard. When you have these big events and people are just there enthusiastic and, it's their job, the police department and also the National Guard and government to make sure everyone gets home safely. And that didn't happen there at the parade for the Knicks. So I don't disagree with Donald Trump um, wanting to have more than the police department there in the National Guard in D.C. while he is in office. But is he thinking about other people? Is he thinking about what happened in New York? So I think if he feels that for him, and they say, feel that for New York. He's from New York, yeah. And the National Guard is very important to have another hand involved, be able to fly over a situation again with ready helicopters to speak to people and talk to people because no one really knows what's going on. I think we kind of like depend on our National Guard and our police and our government more than we realize and think that we can go to these events that they have for us and everybody's going to come out okay. That didn't happen at the P. Diddy concert when people got crushed to death in New York, during, at City College. And, people actually got issues and really New York fans were crushed. It wasn't as many casualties as it could have been because, as I was watching it, okay, the local police, they were there, were of a sound mind, and they knew, okay, we got to let them in, let the floodgates come in, because people don't keep walking like they do in New York, So I definitely think National Guard needs to be in New York too. If you need them in D.C., you definitely need them in New York too, because of some people are just very, very aggressive, and we need them to be there too. Any place that does not, some people are just very rowdy, and we need to have the National Guard again be able to fly over in a helicopter and speak with a loudspeaker, and say, stop pushing, stand still, move back. There's too many people. Turn around and go the other way and disperse. And that's what they, for me, being from New York, when they say disperse, okay, some people go to the left, some people go to the right, some people go to the middle, some people stay still, but there's too many people in the same place at the same time, and let's not let this be an issue. But again, I feel as though, I think it's kind of selfish of Donald Trump to just say, only in D.C., he wants the National Guard there to the end of his term, but not considering other people with those issues, and maybe we need a National Guard there too. I definitely think, again, a place like, if you're going to do it in, they say, you definitely need to do it in New York or places like that have a lot of events and things like that to protect the American people. And Donald Trump, I think he lives in, normally Donald Trump lives in New York. So I think that he should have that too. Donald Trump was at the Knicks game. I don't know if he was at the parade afterward, but he was definitely there at the New York Knicks game. And so I definitely think that, he should consider that, because I feel as though if he just considers DC to the end of his term. I'm like, but aren't you the president of everybody here? Not just where you're gonna be. You know, like okay, just have the National Guard around you to the end of your term. But if you thought it was an issue in DC, then clearly there must be an issue somewhere else. And I definitely think New York is one of those places because of the fact that people were being crushed. Like unnecessary casualties when there's no alleged war in New York. And so, I'm not against Trump saying that, we need something in DC, but let him think about other people like New York or wherever else, If bottom line is this, if he feels as though he needs to have extra protection in DC, then he's not the only one. Yeah. Um, Big cities that have big events, they need protection too. Because again, the local police, they did not have enough protection there in New York, and it was like sparse, you know, and I don't understand why though, because again, like it's a big event. Anytime there's a major show out, they should have had the National Guard at um, the New York Knicks parade. Because normally all those people are not going to show up for the Thanksgiving parade or any other parade all at once. But so I think that they should have definitely had, you know, considered that. And so again, maybe there was not anything to let people know that they could have the National Guard. I don't think you could just call the National Guard just because a lot of people showed up at a game in New York City or a parade after a game, you know, or so. So I think that definitely how the people started acting there was a lot of flagrant behavior. And I definitely think that they should definitely have the National Guard also be able to be positioned in New York City for future events if Donald Trump feels they need to be in DC. I haven't heard anything lately about any other cities, but this was a big event in New York City, and there were some bad things that happened there, which has been covered on TikTok and in regular news and YouTube also. And so, if you're going to do something there, cover New York too, because um, that was majorly dangerous, and a lot of people are enthusiastic, but some people came down there just to do chaos, you know, and did not care. Now they could have been from New York or been from somewhere else, but we started seeing that some of the people were just like really had nasty attitudes that came down there to the Knicks parade. And so we do, for that, when you see that, there needs to be some presence of another authority to be able to swoop in and de escalate the issues there that might occur with these big events they have um, with millions of people out at the same time. And don't think the local police departments right in the area can handle all the people that came from, I don't know where they came from. Probably from the Brooklyn Bridge, the train station, all at once, and flooded in, and all the people that actually lived in Manhattan were there too. So it was a major show up, and it could have been a real issue. Okay, guys, now make sure to make love your God and source, And make sure to hit that subscription button right now. Subscribe to the channel. And make sure to share this video with 10 people and make sure they subscribe too.